This is actually the interior package I had when I had a Rebel, and I loved it. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a 2022 Ram 1500 Rebel. First and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Rebel. Check out the inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 395 horsepower and then 410 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 21 on the highway, with the axle ratio being 3.92 for the Rebel. Now let's go to the front end of this Rebel. So this is in an all-new color for the Rebel, Delmonico Red. You've been able to get it in other 1500s like this Bighorn for quite some time, but they've never offered it on the Rebel before. And we're gonna move over here because my shadow's gonna be in the way otherwise. You guys can see here, we've got the venting on the hood. We have our 1500 5.7 liter Hemi badge. It's all blacked out with the venting there at the top. LED lights that are standard with the Rebel, and you've got the daytime running lights around those. We've got the fog lights here at the bottom with the tow hooks on the front end. We have skid plate protection underneath as part of the Rebel package because it's the off-road truck and Rams lineup. We got the Ram logo with the mustache grill, and there's the front end. Coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And in normal Rebel fashion, the center of the wheel's blacked out, and then the silver ring on the outside is, well, not blacked out. You can get the wheels fully blacked out with an appearance package for the Rebel. Now these are the Duratrax, and it's a fantastic tire. You can get a ton of mileage out of it. It's also really grippy for off-road situations. And then we've got Bilstein shocks also with the Rebel, independent front suspension. Notice here with the fender flares, how those are blacked out, Ram logo. Trailer mirrors are blacked out, door handles are also blacked out. And then we've got 5-link coil suspension here in the back end of the Rebel, and then more Bilstein shocks. The Rebel is lifted about an inch over a regular Ram 1500, so between the larger tires and the slight lift, it does sit quite a bit higher. So here's a key fob for this Rebel. We have our unlock function lock and then the remote start function as well. And we've got a dampened tailgate. We've got 1,444 pounds of payload capacity. This one doesn't have a bed liner from the factory, but it's pretty easy to add in after the fact. Love seeing the Delmonico Red here. And you guys can see the bed space. Notice we've got the cargo tie-down hooks here in the bed as well. And then picking this up, super light, easy to put into place. Now let's finish things up with the rest of the rear. So this one has the Ram box cargo system here on the side. So it does steal space out of the bed, but then it gives you space here on the side, a full power outlet here. You've got drain plugs down below as well. And you can lock it, notice here with the LED lights, and then all of our blacked out badges here on the rear, and the blacked out exhaust tips here at the back. Towing capacity is right around 11,000 pounds because this has a 3.92 axle ratio. And yeah, there's just one more look at the Delmonico Red here in the sunlight. It just looks so cool in a Rebel. Now here's the interior on this particular Rebel. This one has the two-tone interior, which I'm a huge fan of. You guys can see here with the red. And I noticed this trim piece right here that's different in coloration compared to the padding. And if you look at that trim, it's pretty close in color to the Delmonico Red, so it actually all matches, which is pretty cool. Got the two-tone stitching there. And then here are these seats. So vinyl with the cloth inserts. They're very comfortable in terms of the padding. They're one of my favorite seats in a pickup truck from an aesthetic perspective, and then also from how they feel. And then notice here with the cup holders, tons of storage space with the vents. And of course we got the Ram boxes. Well, not Ram boxes, sorry, the ice coolers. Those are Ram boxes. It's like 100 degrees outside, my brain's fried. Anyways, under seat storage, this doesn't have reclining seats. Tons of space here in the back of the cab. And so yeah. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see here with all of the padding, and then notice with the trailer mirrors, you can flip them up if you want, manually of course. We've got our window controls, front two are automatic, and then notice with the mirror adjustments, one of the speakers for the sound system. And then here's the front seat. Again, notice here with the inserts, got the Rebel logo. Power adjustments on the side. Pedal layout down below. We've got our pedal adjustment here. Notice here for the cargo outlet. Parking brake, light controls with the fog light and the cargo light. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. And again, look at the trim, how that matches the Delmonico Red. You can see them next to each other right here. Pretty cool. Let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel you guys can see here with the leather trim at the top and at the bottom. Notice we have that red stitching and then it's perforated here on the side. And let me turn down the air conditioning, sorry about that. Radio controls there on the back. Controls here for the center stack, voice command, phone controls, gear limiter. And yeah, overall, definitely a cool looking steering wheel setup. And again, you got like the Delmonico red here inside the truck, which is just fun. Now here is the gauge cluster. You guys can see you've got analog gauges on either side, and then we have the screen here in the center. Now the most important tab here for the Rebel, other than, you know, obviously seeing your like trip info and all that, is, wait for it, vehicle info. So you guys can see like tire pressure, all that kind of stuff, and wow, those tires are pretty high. They always have high tire pressure from the dealership. But yeah, anyways, pretty cool little setup, and again, you got more of the red here. It's like all over this truck. Got a 12 volt here at the top, more of that red trim, and then notice here with the padding and stitching on the dash. And then here's the infotainment system. So first off, if I pop it into reverse, you can see I've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Got that zoom function as well. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's a smaller unit, response time's great. Makes a clicking sound, which is kind of cool. But yeah, easy enough to use. You got the shortcut bar, and yeah, other than that, let's continue on. Analog controls here for like the radio, your heated seats, heated steering wheel, and then the climate system, single zone climate. We have our tow haul mode, stability control, and then notice here with the trailer brake controls. And then we have the dial shifter for the 8-speed automatic transmission. Notice we have our 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel low, 4-wheel high, and then the true neutral. This has the axle lock and the hill descent control as well. And then here's the center console. So notice that pops up. You got the measuring charts, of course. Tons of storage space, and then this slides backwards and forwards. Got some USBs here, and then you got a full power outlet down below with the phone holders, and dual glove box. And again, red trim is just everywhere with this truck. Popping up to the very top here, we do have a power sliding window at the rear, darker colored headliner, and universal garage door openers. Now here's a window sticker for this Rebel. You guys can see the base price, $53,895, and all these standard equipment, there's quite a bit. Anyways, optional equipment on this particular one, including the Delmonico Red. Total MSRP, $63,055. Let's take it out and see if the red drives any different. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors. Again, this has the trailer tow mirrors. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So, setting off in the Rebel, and let's see how this red paint makes this drive differently compared to every other Rebel that I have driven. I'm just kidding. Anyways, let's talk about what I like about the Rebel. And 102 degrees, man, it was like 50 degrees the other day, and now it's like 102. It's just crazy with these temperature swings you get in the desert. But anyways, things I like about the Rebel. First off, the looks. It has that kind of like cool Raptor-esque styling, or you could say Ram TRX styling now because the Ram TRX is out, or it just has this cool aggressive off-roader appearance. So that's something I really like about the Rebel, is it looks cool when you see it driving down the road, especially when you compare it to like a Trail Boss, right? Because the Trail Boss looks a little bit different from regular Silverado, but the Rebel really looks different because they have the custom bumpers with it. Now, from an interior perspective, I like this red package. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, it's too much, it's way out there, but again, it just like adds some pizzazz to the interior, and these seats are so comfortable. This is actually the interior package I had when I had a Rebel, and I loved it. Just, it's the package to go for, in my opinion. Even though it doesn't have the cooled seats you can get with the new Rebel GT, I still think it's a really cool package, and it's the one that I go for. And then from a driving perspective, something that's really cool about the Ram is it does use coil suspension in the rear, just like the new Toyota Tundra. And coil suspension stays nice and planted, and it gives you a really smooth ride on-road. And then off-road, again, stays nice and planted and gives you a smooth ride, especially compared to the leaf springs. You don't have that jumping all over the place. And so it's just great, and it has really good flex with the solid rear axle that this truck has, and so overall it's just a great system. And on top of that, right, having the off-road tires, it looks cool, but then it also adds practicality for driving in, you know, deep snow conditions, right? You're a little bit higher up off the ground, and then if you want to go on off-road adventures, this thing can just destroy off-roading. I have taken a Rebel off-road, not just mine, but like I also had the new Rebel GT for a week. So if you guys want to see this truck off-road, just look up Ben Hardy Rebel GT off-road, and it'll pop right up. But the point that I want to try to make is it's just a really nice truck. And it's still, just like all the other new Rams, the cabin's so well insulated, and it's crazy to me that, you know, since 2019, none of the other truck makers have really caught up to Ram in terms of like the feel that you get inside of a Ram. Like, it's so quiet. Ford is pretty dang close with the new F-150, but I think for them to, you know, really catch up with Ram, they need to just tweak things a little bit more, and they definitely need to get rid of those leaf springs. They need to do coil suspension, and then I think that we could say that Ford, you know, might have a chance with beating Ram from a luxury perspective. But yeah, Ram's just really captured something with this, you know, 5th generation, and the Rebel is just a cool, you know, off-road truck that even if you don't take it off-road, it's still fun to own one of these, because it's just a cool looking truck to drive around. And it's like, this is so comfortable. Like, I feel like I'm in a luxury car driving this around. And the thing that's sad for me to admit is I love the TRX. It's such a fun truck to own, but a standard Ram 1500 is slightly more comfortable in the TRX. Like, you just get this feel on the regular Ram 1500 that you don't quite get in the TRX. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this new color. I love it. It matches a lot of the interior accents of the Rebel, and so I think that this just makes sense. And I've always been a fan of like this type of red on an off-road truck. Like, they had this red on the Raptor, and I always loved it. They still have it on the new generation Raptor 2, which I think it looks great. So I've always been a fan of this color, and so I'm glad that they finally offer it on the Rebel. I know that it's kind of more of like an old man type red, but I don't know. I think it looks cool. Let me know what you think. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this Ram 1500 Rebel. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this truck. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see you guys in the next video.